Welcome everybody to this episode of O365eh. On today's session, we'll be talking about some new significant capabilities in Microsoft Teams. And some of these capabilities introduce changes for your end users. So it's always good to be knowledgeable of them, and some of them are really useful. So with that, let's get started. Michael, we know that the new Teams client is rolling out. Can you give us an update on the rollout schedule?
Yeah, I mean, a big change, if you haven't been prepping for it, comes down to, what is your upgrade policy, your update policy in the Teams Admin Center. If you've left it as the default for Microsoft controlled, then pretty much regardless of what you're using from an Office point of view, your end users will see the little toggle in the corner that says, hey, try the new Teams client. And pretty aggressive timeline for Microsoft. So there's the first one, hey, let's show the control to our end users. The next one is defaulting as the new Teams client. And so I think if we look at the time schedule, pretty much everyone should be seeing the toggle in the corner, unless you have policies that are restricting that. And then quickly following that is now we're starting to see all the way up into current channel that the Teams client is the new Teams client is the default client. So overnight, as you will, your users could be using the new Teams client versus kind of classic Teams. So that all kind of stems from what is your update policy in the Teams Admin Center, and if it says Microsoft controlled for the new Teams client, then that means Microsoft's going to decide when you see that new Teams client. So from a toggle point of view or as a default point of view. So make sure you're ready for that. Get your adoption material going for that, and then enjoy the new client. I'll pass it to Kurt to talk about some of the things in the new Teams client. And right now I'm showing the web version, so I have the toggle in the corner. I'm actually able to show the new Teams client experience within a browser. So we're starting to see that across platforms.
All right. Well, one new app that Microsoft recently released, it's called the Meet app. And it's meant to be your one-stop shop for consuming meetings, both preparing for meetings, joining a meeting, and even looking at past meetings, recordings, transcripts, and all that. So we all live and breathe meetings every day. So I think this will be a great app where people can just go and I know for myself, when I start my day, I'm always looking at what meetings I have coming up. So all I have to do is go to this app. You can see all the upcoming meetings as shown here. And I will note that to add this, it's a little different than adding a regular app, as Michael is showing here. You go to the three dots, view more apps, and then you search for the Meet app, and it'll come up, and you can just add it. And if you want to pin that to your left-hand nav, you can just right-click pin. So once you're in the Meet app, you'll see all your meetings for the day. You can send a reminder to any participant. You can reschedule a meeting. You can look at all the meeting details, dive right in like Michael's doing here for this meeting. In the recent panel on the bottom, you can see previous meetings that were recorded. So that's nice. It's all in one spot. You can look at any content that was shared in the meeting, previous or upcoming. And you can also dive right in and just with the filter keyword, if you have a lot of meetings like we all do, you can use a nice search to find a specific meeting. So I know for myself, I'm always going back in the Teams client using the search bar to find specific meeting details. So I think this will be super useful. And with that, I'll turn it over.
I just wanted to add, Kurt, I know you're going to turn it over to Dino, but I think it's kind of cool as well that you're able to access the agenda and notes that were taken within that Meet space as well. So it's kind of cool to have everything all in one place as well.
Yeah, we did an episode on the Loop components as well as using Loop for the kind of the agendas. So now you have a single place to see all those and search.
Yeah, good call outs. All right, Dino, you're going to talk about another new app, the People app.
Yeah, so it's a new app, but it's not really new in the sense that the functionality is similar to what we used to see. So in Teams 2.0, if you go into chat and you're looking for where your contacts have disappeared to, they've kind of moved where your contacts used to be in chat into the new People app. So if you're looking for them, you need to install an app called People, and that's where they're all going to appear. So if you had a bunch of contacts already added to your to Teams before, they will show up in the People app under the different groups that you had created. So if you had a bunch of groups with contacts in there, you'll see them. And a couple things to note about it is there's no presence in the People app. So basically, it's more of just a contact manager. You can add contacts from your directory, so and they'll sync to the Teams client, and then you can add personal notes to these contacts that only you see. They won't sync back to the directory. So if there's changes, the nice thing is if there's changes in the directory, those will sync back to the Teams client. But any notes you make about that contact won't be there. You can also add other personal contacts in this app as well. So if you had a non-directory contact that you wanted to add, maybe a customer, that will sync to Outlook. So you can still add users' external contacts here and their information. Yeah, so I think, in general, it's just, I think Microsoft decided to break it out into its own app. I'm not sure that there's a lot of extra functionality here. You can do the speed dial. You can add categories to all your contacts as well. Obviously, you can delete them, and then you can export contacts in the app as well. So once again, this is new in the Teams 2.0 client, so you'll need to add the People app. Just do a quick search, and you'll be able to add it. And yeah, so give it a check out.
And just a question for as Michael's demoing it here. Michael, you aren't actually creating a folder. It's just you created a category called agents, right?
Yeah, I created a category and then I tagged the person. So this could be a way to easily see, if you have a whole bunch of agents, maybe you want to tag them all with the same category. Sorry, tag them with agents.
I was going to say, I believe you can use that @ tag in a chat and tag them, but I haven't tested that. It would be nice if that was the case, because when I first saw categories, it looked like a tag.
So I think they're a little bit different than tags. So I don't think you can @mention agents. And then unfortunately right now, the presence, as Dino was saying, is not visible here, so you can't see everyone's presence. But you can click on the people card and get presence on this. Obviously, this demo user isn't signed in, but you get the people dot there. Also, your location information. So if that's office location, so maybe this will be tying into places or some other features coming down the pipe.
Yeah, I would expect the functionality to be enhanced once 2.0 is mainstream.
Right on. So up next is me. So the Microsoft, the Files app within Microsoft Teams is going to be getting an update and being renamed to the OneDrive app and getting the OneDrive app experience. So if you're familiar with, using the OneDrive web application, it's essentially the exact same experience. The current file experience is a bit limited in the sense where you only have a few different settings on the left hand side, or options on the left hand side, as far as like home, my files, shared, and favorites, and some of the filtering experience. Again, it's limited. So with the new experience, it's really for all of your Office applications that you have sort of in a shared space. So you can search for all of your standard Office, like Word, Excel, PowerPoint, PDFs, and then in addition to that, Microsoft Lists, Loop, Power BI, and Whiteboard. So all of those will be, that are stored within your OneDrive space. You'll be able to have them exposed here within the OneDrive application inside of Teams. And then with that, you have the ability to have some additional filtering capabilities. So on the left-hand side, when talking about the people at meetings, you can click on, browse files by a specific people, and you can filter that way. And then it'll show you all of the people that you've communicated with, and all the things you sort of collaborated on with, or created files or curated documents by. And then the last one in there is the meetings. So again, you have basically access to the dates and times, the people that were within that meeting, and then all of the different recordings that you've had sort of within that meeting space. So it doesn't necessarily bring up any of the, other type of content that we saw within the Meet app, as far as like notes and agenda and all that kind of stuff. It really just kind of filters it down to the recording and who was in the actual recording as well. So it's kind of cool, kind of like as Michael was mentioning before, with the experiences coming into the like the 2.0 experience and the web experience. We're seeing all that kind of that functionality as well coming into the 2.0 application. So from the web experience, so like the OneDrive app in the web, it looks identical to the OneDrive app that's going to be coming into the Microsoft Teams app.
Hey Habib, did it say when that's rolling out, the new OneDrive app?
Yeah, so it says November 2023. So I suspect, since we're at the beginning of the month, you're still going to start seeing that roll out into your enterprise. So just get to, give your end users a quick note or FAQ that, to access their content, they'll be able to see it in the OneDrive app and not the Files app. And again, as I mentioned, it'll be the same experience as they see as OneDrive on the web right now.
Good stuff. Going back to the Meet app and the People's app, I was just wondering if it's available on the mobile. I was looking for it. I actually didn't see it. Have you guys seen it for the mobile client?
I don't know. Only for the new Teams client, which will be Windows, Mac, and browser.
Yeah, I just see files. Yeah, no, I don't see it on there.
Another change that may have slipped through the weeds or whatever is Tasks got a new logo as well.
So, yeah, that's right.
I've been waiting for Tasks to be instead of Task by Planner and To Do to just be called Tasks. We'll see when that comes, but there is an updated logo for it now.
Yeah, Michael, with the new logo, so you're expecting the name to change to Tasks?
Yeah, I think there was a roadmap on like the timeline of when it was going to change names from Planner to Do to Note to Tasks, but we'll see when that comes through. I think the big thing here is a lot of changes before the holiday season. So new Teams client, any issues getting that installed on machines. We have new apps to serve different scenarios for where we may have done that in like the calendar or in chat before. So we have the Meet app, we have the People app, we have tasks changing. So a lot of changed files changing to OneDrive. So it's good to see everything kind of moving together and getting a refresh. But it does mean that if you had documentation and quick reference guides and stuff like that, there may be a little bit of overtime updating a lot of that material.
Yep, and as we all know, changes to end user interfaces always cause questions and require some time for end users to get familiar with. So
probably a good idea to create a policy to roll it out to a group of users first and see what the experience is for them, than just releasing it all to everybody at once. Obviously.
Yeah. Yep. Might be too late for that now with Microsoft controlled and the aggressive timeline.
Yeah. If you had that setting, sure.
Yeah, and the Meet app and the People app, those are Microsoft apps. So if you've already approved like all Microsoft apps, those would be available for users to kind of grab and pin, but they aren't on the rail by default. So someone would have to, kind of go under the three dots, as Kurt was saying, and see the new Microsoft apps that are kind of tucked away.
And Michael, if I remember correctly, there's a policy you can set to configure the apps, how they appear on the left-hand rail, right?
Yeah, instead of letting an end user kind of pin it and move the icons around, you can kind of curate that for them for the app policies and the permission policies. So
good stuff. Well, let's leave it at there. Really good recap on some important changes coming. Thanks, everybody, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
thank you.